Thank you, everybody. I only prepared 2 slides, which is kind of unusual for big corporations where we like to come to these meetings with big slide decks. And when I was told that you have, opportunity to present what it takes to succeed in Microsoft on such an important event, talking to you, and they told me you have 15 minutes to do it, I was like, 15? You mean 2 days and 15 minutes? Or, what's the time frame I have? But I'd really like to make it simple. This is not a pitch for Microsoft. This is a view of a corporation that is transforming, corporation that is accepting the facts of the industry and trying to move to the future into digitalization. And that, of course, reflects to the people that we have in our organization. So there is no formula or algorithm what it takes to succeed in Microsoft. There are several steps that we are trying to do. In my function, I'm leading a team of recruiters for Central Eastern Europe. And the thing that we are doing actually is trying to evaluate people who can come to our organization and help us achieve our goals as an organization. So, as always, you need to start from your mission. We have a new CEO, started 2.5 years ago, and turned the company inside out. Our mission is empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. It's simple, and you start from your mission when you're thinking about the people that you need to bring to your organization. We have our worldview, mobile first, cloud first. Everybody's talking about the cloud. We are there. We are pushing the business to achieve better results through cloud. And that is actually eating our traditional business. So in a sense, you want to bring people who will help you achieve something. And by that, some people in your organization are going to be out of their jobs. So it's a kind of a paradox that you have to adopt in order to move forward. Our strategy is there. Our ambitions are there. But what I wanted to really point out is the culture that we have in our organization. So the culture, which is starting from growth mindset, it's actually, on the next slide you will see, there's a psychologist, actually professor of Stanford University, she written a book called Mindset, and it really resonates with the things that we want to do in our organization. So probably some of you saw this slide. If you haven't read the book, I really recommend the book. It starts from a difference, what it means to have fixed mindset or to have growth mindset. So fixed mindset, it's your perception that intelligence comes naturally. You're a natural born seller, or you're intelligent and it's enough. And growth mindset actually, talks about intelligence that can be developed, talks about embracing challenges, talks about persisting in the face of setbacks. Because if you have a fixed mindset, you will just choose to do things that you're successful at. You will not go and do some risky that will make you fail. If you have a fixed mindset, you will persist in the face of setbacks. You will see effort as a path to mastery. Learn from criticism. Feedback culture, it's very important for big organizations. Culturally, somewhere it's not accepted. So you might hear differently talking to people who come from Japan. Would you dare to give a feedback to your boss? Of course not. It's not accepted. But what we as a corporation are trying to do is have like 360 feedback from your peers, from your subordinates, from your boss, or even a skip level manager there. It helps you actually grow in your roles. You find lessons and inspiration in success of others. And the first thing that we did in Microsoft when we started changing our culture is change the performance model that we have. We completely trashed the old performance model, which was like 1 to 5 ratings in your team. You were putting labels to your people, how successful they are. We completely changed it, and we are now talking about impact. And not impact just as individual person, your impact in your job. We also talk about, impact that you have on your team. So there are 3 areas, like individual performance, impact to your team, and also how you contribute to success of others and build on top of other people's work. Because in big organizations, you have silos, you have different parts of the organization. Everybody works for themselves, everybody is successful, but you lose the synergy of working together. So, how does this relate to success in Microsoft? From the assessment perspective, what we are looking in the people that we are trying to bring to our organization, we look at it in 4 areas. So track record, were they successful in their previous jobs? And that's the indicator of present success and past success. We also look at their technical knowledge and credentials, depending on in which part of the organization they work. Some of the roles are more technical, some of them are less technical. But what we are putting special emphasis to is competencies and values and culture. So if you are successful in some other organization, you have good results, it doesn't mean that you'll be successful somewhere else. If you fit the company culture and you have the right values and you have right set of competencies, that's indicator of us of a future success. So for example, in Microsoft, we have a set of core competencies, which every employee in Microsoft needs to have, like collaboration, adaptability, drive for results. We have 6 of them. And then for every profession, we have different set of competencies, and we try to evaluate them during our interview processes. And every person that comes to Microsoft needs to have a strong balance across these 4 quadrants that I just mentioned. And putting even more emphasis right now to the culture and values part, because it's not so tangible, it's very difficult to assess. And that's where the mastery is. If you have somebody who was successful in a similar organization in the past, it doesn't mean that they will be successful in Microsoft in the future, because industry is transforming so quickly, and one of the biggest threats that we have in our people is dealing with ambiguity. People who can deal with ambiguity, who can really adapt to the changing circumstances. This is something that we are actually looking for in all of the people that are joining Microsoft. And trying to put more emphasis on competencies than on track record, which allows us to make some hires that we didn't do before. I know there are some people here from other big corporations, from other companies, and what we're trying to do is open up and reflect the customer base that we are having. Trying to bring people who will reflect the market. If you're an enterprise organization, you just focus on enterprises. But if you want to go to consumers, if you want to go to different industries, you need to have these people as well in your organization. And one very important thing that we are paying special attention to is diversity and inclusion. Connected to my last point that you need to reflect the market that you're working on. It's very simple. 50% of the market are females. Are we as an organization, highly technical company, opening up and inclusive to have females in our organization? We're trying to achieve, we put some aspirational goals to attract more female, and by having that diversity in your teams, different way of thinking, you can be more successful. And there are several studies that showing, how diverse teams can really have better business results and how that reflects on your return on investment. So, I hope I give you a taste of how it feels and what we're trying to assess. There are several more layers. I will not give you a formula. We don't have enough room for all of the employees in Microsoft Office here in Belgrade. But, trying to move away, if I have to give a last message, like trying to move away from just track record and moving into the right people who have right mindset and right set of competencies and good learning agility, and that is the person that we want to hire for the future. Thank you.
Thank you.